In the 2023 recruiting cycle, the Oklahoma Sooners did something that we haven't seen in a while, and that's they got 2 5-star recruits on the defensive side of the ball. But to add to that, they got a 5-star quarterback in Jackson Arnold, who, when he originally committed to them, was not a 5-star. So you end the class with 3 5-stars, really looking at two strong 5-star defensive players. And you're looking at 2024 going, what are the Oklahoma Sooners going to do now? So today we're going to talk about and break down the potential 5-stars that Oklahoma can land, and realistically, what are Oklahoma's chances? Because this might be the best recruiting class Oklahoma has ever put up. But before we dive into it, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you guys think is going to be the end-all be-all when it comes to the 5-stars for the Oklahoma Sooners? So we're going to break down this list for you guys. And I want to make sure that it's important to note, we are going to talk about guys that are currently 247 composite 5-stars, not guys that we are projecting to be 5-stars, like maybe a Nigel Smith or guys like that. So you're going to see some of them get left out. You're going to see Devon Mitchell be left out because he is still not technically reclassified into the 2024 class. So we'll take a look at that at a later date, but we're going to talk about just 247 composite 5-stars. And really, I think we have to start on the defensive line with probably one of the biggest defensive line recruits in all of the country in 5-star defensive lineman Williams Nwaneri from Lee Summit, Missouri. Now, after his recent junior day visit, a lot of you guys saw the crystal balls flow in, and by no surprise, from people that I've talked to outside of what you're hearing from the insiders, I believe that Williams Nwaneri will also be an Oklahoma Sooner. It seems like it fits. You're hearing about how the relationships there are strong. And so, by no surprise, Williams Nwaneri is going to be a Sooner. Now, you look at David Stone, and you've seen some crystal balls flow in for Michigan State. And on some other sites, you see Michigan State favored. But Steve Wiltfong, Brandon Drum, guys like that, they still have their crystal ball submitted for Oklahoma. Now, the interesting thing here is, and something that we're hearing in this recruitment is, this decision, if it was left up to David Stone, he would be a Sooner already. Because, well, he's tried to commit to the Sooners 3 times. But at the end of the day, you really want to make sure this kid goes out there, sees everything he needs to see, and ultimately is making the right decision for him. I believe David Stone is 70, 80% Oklahoma. I think that's probably your odds of landing David Stone. I'm never going to rule anything out with Texas A&M since they're in on this recruitment. And, well, it looks like Michigan State, they do have some relationship there that might cause a problem. So the 6'4", 270-pound defensive lineman currently at IMG Academy, but from Oklahoma City, where you guys believe he has a really good relationship and a love for the University of Oklahoma. This is a guy that the Sooners, they really need to get. But you've got guys like Gerald McCoy out there on Twitter trying to help Brent Venables and this staff recruit David Stone here. And so the likelihoods of David Stone being in this class are extremely good. But I'm not going to say 100% like I am with Williams Nwaneri. But I think it's safe to say we expect to see both of those guys in this class. So then we move to the 5-star defensive lineman Edrick Houston from Buford, Georgia, coming in at 6'3", 255 pounds. And this one intrigued me a lot because he's the number 8 overall player in the 247 composite rankings. And when you looked at his picture that he took and the one he decided to post from his junior day visit, which, by the way, Nwaneri was at, he took a picture with Ted Roof. Now, I am not going to believe that they're going to move him off the defensive line or maybe the edge to go be a linebacker. I definitely think you could see maybe him move to the edge, play a little bit of Cheetah, if he absolutely needs to, maybe is I don't know what his numbers look like in terms of track times, but I would assume the staff wants to move him to the edge and play him at kind of like a defensive end linebacker role, kind of like what I think they're going to do with McCullough this year. It's definitely possible. That one intrigued me. And just as you heard Brandon Drum talk about it, if Oklahoma gets an official visit here, are they the third favorite? Are they moving into number 2? What does that look like for the Sooners? Because they definitely made an impact. And the one thing you're hearing from that visit that you're hearing is consistent with a lot of other visits. Brent Venables and the staff, they're intentional with the time with these players they get on campus. Edrick Houston, they made a huge impact on that recruitment on junior day. In 2022, he had 64 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks. And so if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan and you go out there and you land 3 5-stars on the defensive line where, well, Williams Nwaneri could probably play edge or interior. David Stone's going to be an interior guy. And then you get an Edrick Houston who maybe, could play the edge or maybe shift out into that cheetah role. Yeah, if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan, you have to be excited about that. Odds for Edrick Houston, I'm not putting them high because, well, he's 40 miles away from Athens and 79 miles away from Clemson, where Nick Eason, my goodness, that guy can recruit because, well, he gave Todd Bates everything he wanted and more last year on the recruiting trail for defensive linemen. So if you're looking at it, I favor Georgia or Clemson in this recruitment. But if the Sooners get an official visit, this is one you have to watch. And so moving out of the defensive line, we got to talk about, I think, one of the most exciting prospects that you guys want to see. Sammy Brown, the 5-star linebacker, 6'2", 2.5, 225-pound linebacker out of Jefferson, Georgia. Whew, man, this would be a huge get for the Oklahoma Sooners because the linebacker position is one that I think has really lacked for the Sooners ever since Kenneth Murray left the Oklahoma Sooners. 59 miles away from Athens, Georgia, or 59 miles away from Clemson, 15 miles away from Athens, Georgia. Again, just like Edrick Houston, you believe this is a recruitment where either one of those guys or those teams are going to have probably the front run here. Now, Sammy Brown has taken 2 visits to the University of Oklahoma. And he's taken 1 visit. He's got another one coming up, which we'll give him 2. April of last year. I believe the next one is coming up in either April or May of this year. He does have 2 official visits already lined up. Ohio State and Clemson. They're both in June 2nd, June 16th for Ohio State. If you're the Oklahoma Sooners here, this is going to be a huge uphill battle. 7 visits to Clemson with an official already scheduled. 8 visits to Georgia. 4 visits to Ohio State with the official already scheduled. If you're Oklahoma, you have to be able to get in here and get an official visit. So you have to hit a home run on this visit that you have coming up. You have to sell maybe this identity that Sammy Brown can try to be the next boss, right? I say that because, well, he kind of reminds me of it, and Sammy Brown kind of alluded to it on his last visit. That's what you have to do. You have to sell that identity that Oklahoma has produced great linebackers in the past, and Sammy Brown can be the next great linebacker at the University of Oklahoma. Not high on it. Again, it's probably going to fall within one of those 3 teams, especially with how close Georgia and Clemson are. But if Oklahoma gets an official visit with Brent Venables' track record of landing top linebackers, especially in the past 4 years, wouldn't count Oklahoma out here. So, kind of moving a little bit into the secondary, let's look at the 5-star cornerback Kobe Black, who, again, took a visit to the University of Oklahoma for junior day. The 6', 190-pound kid out of Connolly High School in Waco, Texas, the number 15th overall player nationally, where you guys have heard me talk about it multiple times on this podcast. I thought Kobe Black was trending more to Oklahoma State because he has a younger brother that plays there. Or, well, I say younger, older brother that plays there, in Corey Black. He's another cornerback. My deal is you have some pretty elite teams in on this recruitment. A&M with DJ Durkin and TJ Rushing. You have Texas out there. Of course, Baylor and some of the other Texas teams are going to be in there. You've got Alabama trying to get visits for the kid. You've got LSU, Florida, Florida, I think, will probably get a visit soon. Alabama will probably get a visit soon. Not really sure where Oklahoma lies here, because the multi-sport athlete has really good size. Needs to probably add on a little bit of muscle mass, but proven capabilities on that side of the ball to create pass breakups, to go up and try to grab that ball, but not afraid to come down with that receiver. He's going to produce big numbers, and this is a kid that could come in and be a Power 5 starter right away, depending on the team that he goes to. And, well, he turned heads at the Under Armour Dallas Regional. Hey, if you're the Oklahoma Sooners, with all that you're losing at the cornerback position in 2024, Woody Washington, Key Lawrence, potentially Kendall Dolby, depending on how he does and how he plays out this season. And I'm sure you'll have a few transfer exits. You're going to be losing Billy Bowman at the safety. I believe you have to go out there and get a guy like this. Now, outside of the 5 stars, it's looking really good. I'd like to see Oklahoma target Xavier Filsaime a little bit more at the safety position. But at the corner position, which one thing you're kind of getting with a lot of players that Oklahoma is recruiting at the cornerback and the safety position, is they can kind of play either one. They're not locked down to one position. Now, talking about safeties, let's look at one that I think a lot of you guys have forgotten about. The number 3 overall player in the 247 composite, a consensus 5-star person across the board, no matter what site you look at. 5-star safety KJ Bolden, the 6'1", 185-pound kid out of Buford, Georgia. Whew, man. I like this kid. Like him a lot. On his 100 meters, he ran a 10.76. Here's the deal. His foot speed is elite. Not sure kind of where his game looks like in terms of how he can catch the ball. But as we talked about with Kobe Black, he can go up there. He can cause pass breakups. Not afraid to come down with those wide receivers and get a little dirty. Again, the same problem you're going to have with Edrick Houston. 40 miles away from Georgia. 79 miles away from Clemson. Ohio State's in this thing. Alabama's in this thing. And if you're Alabama and you're having to go up against Travaris Robinson at Alabama, you've got an uphill battle. And Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, they're not putting out their second recruiters. They're putting out their best. Georgia's putting out Will Muschamp and Fran Brown. Clemson's putting out Mickey Kahn and Wes Goodwin. Guys, Wes Goodwin's on the up and up. He's going to be the next defensive coordinator at a big-time program or even at Clemson. So the 5-star safety, KJ Bolden, he has an official visit already scheduled to go to Ohio State, where he's been 4 times. Now, he's been to Georgia 10 times, and that is 5 more than the second team, which is tied for 2 at Clemson and Florida. Now, Florida State's gotten 4 visits. Bama's gotten 3. Oklahoma's gotten 2 since Venables has been here. 1 in March of last year, 1 in July of last year. If you're the Oklahoma Sooners and you're able to go out there and, I'm not going to say win a guy like KJ Bolden, because I'm not oblivious to think that we can go out there and land a guy like that just yet. If you're an Oklahoma Sooner and you can get an official visit from a guy like KJ Bolden. It turns heads on the recruiting trail. It makes people ask a question: what is Brent Venables and this staff doing out there? And then if they go out there and have a really good season, then maybe in 2025 and 2026, you're starting to win guys like KJ Bolden. I'd love to see Oklahoma get an official visit, and we'd kind of see where the recruitment is going to go from there. But lastly, one of the guys that I think a lot of people need to be paying attention to, one that I think's fallen off the radar, 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson out of Lake Belton High School in Temple, Texas. 6 foot, 190-pound wide receiver, number 6 overall player nationally in terms of the 247 composite. Micah Hudson, listen, being from the state of Texas, I'm going to give Texas a clear-cut advantage here, especially with how many visits he's taken. However, do not count Oklahoma out here to be a last-minute contender. He took 4 visits to Texas Tech, 3 while Emmett Jones was there. He's taken 2 visits to Oklahoma while LaDamian Washington and Jeff Lebby. So you still have Jeff Lebby. Technically, that gives Oklahoma 5 visits because he's got a relationship with Jones. And he's already got a relationship with Jeff Lebby. So maybe Oklahoma now is the 3rd team in here that's a favorite. Again, it's probably going to come down between Texas A&M. Those are probably going to be the 2 schools vying for this commitment. For the Oklahoma Sooners, and you get an official here, the same thing we've talked about for many other teams. And I say the officials because we'll get back to the David Stone piece here in a second. If you're the Oklahoma Sooners and you get the official from Micah Hudson, with the relationships that you have from Emmett Jones while he was at Texas Tech and now at Oklahoma and Jeff Lebby here at Oklahoma, you would have to like the Sooners' chances. Especially with the Sooners already knowing who their quarterback is going to go be in 2024 and 2025. And I know they haven't gotten a commitment yet for 2024, and Michael Hawkins is still uncommitted. You know Jackson Arnold's going to be your quarterback in 2024. And if you go get Michael Hawkins in 2024, that just stabilizes the future of the quarterback position for Oklahoma a little bit longer. But you've also got Kevin Sperry for 2025 who just committed. So that's going to help on the recruiting trail a lot more than you think, especially for 2024. Because Kevin Sperry looks like the future at this position, even if Michael Hawkins commits. I don't think it changes Michael Hawkins committing to the University of Oklahoma, but it does help us on the recruiting trail a lot. So Micah Hudson, that's going to be the 5-star that I'm going to end this video with, that I think you guys really need to be paying attention to, that the Oklahoma Sooners could go land. But we've talked about the importance of officials, and I kind of mentioned David Stone here because I said it like a week or 2 ago. If Oklahoma didn't get an official from David Stone, I wouldn't be worried because he's been here so much. And yeah, I get it. David Stone would like to put the official tag next to his name and the University of Oklahoma. But if they don't get the official because David's like, well, I know what Oklahoma has to offer, I want to use those 5 official visits somewhere else just to make sure, wouldn't be too worried. Would not be worried at all. That relationship with Todd Bates, it's good. Again, a lifelong wannabe Sooner. It's only a matter of time, folks. And I get it. Oklahoma doesn't have a commit in the class of 2024 just yet, but it's coming. We just need to calm down. We need to trust the process. Kind of like what the 76ers had to do in the NBA. Trust the process. Even though they haven't won a NBA championship yet. They're getting there, though. So if you guys haven't already, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you all are thinking down in the comments below. What 5 stars? 247 composite 5 stars. Not what you think a person could be a 5-star. Current 247 composite 5 stars. Do you think Oklahoma lands by the end of the 2024 recruiting cycle?